Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope you're having a fabulous day. I'm so glad you're joining me. Well, I have another 5-step card to share with you. We're going to make a card with a window on it and some blooms. We're going to be using the Magical Fuchsia die set. This is a collaboration between Spellbinders and Syberia Designs. And I thought this is a beautiful fuchsia. And I thought we would put this on our card and create an uplifting card. And then for my window, I'm going to be using the Vista window die. I designed this a while back for Spellbinders. And then for my greeting, we're going to use a sentiment from the Sending Sunshine sentiment stamp set. Of course, I'm going to use a greeting. I chose this one because it was a long greeting, but any kind of greeting that you have that's a strip, you can even use sentiment strips. That would work for today's card. And then we're going to create a stenciled background. I'm using the Spellbinders Lots of Circles stencil set. And we're going to be using just the circle here, but I'm going to show you another way to create a background without using this. And then we're going to throw in a bow from the Field Notes die set. And you could use twine if you wanted to, but I thought we'd make a paper bow today since I have it. So let's jump in and get started with step number 1, and we're going to create our focal point, which is the Magical Fuchsia. We're going to go pinks today for our fuchsia. So I have 4 different shades of pink, and then I have my green, which is peridot, and then we have blush, we have tutu, we have dahlia, and we have wildberry from Spellbinders Color Wheel cardstocks. I think maybe tutu isn't, but 4 shades of pink are the cardstocks that you're gonna need today. Okay, let's do some die cutting. The dies in this set are actually lettered. Let me show you. For example, this one has letter A on it, right here. So I can tell you what letters I used with what colors, which is really nice. Okay, so we have A, B, C, and D. Let's spread these out and do some die cutting. Now we're going to have to die cut out multiple times because we're going to create 2 different sets of flowers. And I'm actually going to bring in some yellow for the stamen. Here we go. This is Spellbinders beeswax. We're going to cut 3 stamen out with the beeswax. And then we have the stem of the flower, and then we have the flower leaves. There's 3 leaves on here, and I think that's going to be plenty for my card. So we'll just cut out 1 set of leaves here. And then, okay, now we need die number A. We need 2 sets. So I'm going to die cut out both sets with this pink, which is tutu. Okay, we have, let's see, die number B, letter B die. We are going to die cut out twice. We're going to die cut it out once with dahlia, and then I'll cut it out once with the wildberry. So we'll have 2 different sets. Okay, we have die letter C. We only need 1 of these, and we're going to die cut that out with our blush cardstock. We have die letter D. Okay, and they're etched in here, which is nice. And these we're going to cut out once with dahlia, and again once with the wildberry. We're going to do a little mixing and matching here. And then we're going to need 3 of these. This is the flower bud, but we do need this portion to create all of our fuchsias. So we need 3 of these. So I'm going to do a little mix and matching. I'll die cut out 2 with my tutu, and then I'll die cut out 1 with, we'll go light with the blush here. Okay, so we have a little die cutting to do. I'll be right back. Once I have my die cutting all done, I do want to mention the Spellbinders over on their site. If you push back the pictures that are on the product site, so if you were to find, I'll leave the link to Magical Fuchsia down below. If you click on that link, it'll take you to where this die is sold, and then there's some inspirational pictures. If you push the arrow until you hit this, you can actually print this out. Well, I printed it out by pushing Control P, and then you have a guide on how to put your flowers together, because I thought maybe the letters would help with the layering, but it doesn't. So the layering guide does help tremendously. Well, I'm going to help you too today. So let's go ahead and do a little bit ink blending first, and then we'll put together our flower. And that's all there is to our leaves. Pretty quick and easy. Now, as far as the flowers go, I'm going to use taffy. This is like a, well, it's like a fuchsia pink. And I'm going to use that to add a little color to all of the petals. You can see how bright this is. Look how bright this is. Ooh. So I know it'll show up on all of them. Okay, so we're just going to add a little color to all of our petals. Now we're ready to build some flowers. First, we're going to take this piece. This is cut out with die letter A. And we're going to add a little dots of glue at the base. Now I cut out 3 stamens because for one of my flowers, the smaller one, I'm just going to add one of the stamens to the base of the flower here. Okay. Now with the other 2, we're going to fill it up. Okay, this set of leaves is set B. And there's layering elements. So you're just going to add some glue here and here. And here and here. And since we have 2 different colors, I'm going to flip-flop the lighter with the darker. So this is the lighter. Okay, now we can take these and we can add a little dot of glue down here at the bottom. And then we can place these here on our stamen piece. Now, the one that has the 1 stamen, all we do is add a little dot of glue here. And then we can add one of the single petals here. Now we have petal set letter D. Okay, so these are layerable too. So we just add glue at the bottom once more. And then we can add this petal set to this. Okay, we can add a little dot of glue on the double stamen, and then this goes layered at the bottom here. Add a little dot of glue here. This goes behind it. Here, little dots of glue here and here. And now we can add the little individual petals. Okay, I'm going to put one to the left, and then we can put one over here to the right. Lovely. And that's where we add this top layer. It goes at the very top. Okay, now we need to grab these little pieces. We add a dot of glue here, and we can layer the flower over that piece. And that flower is done. Okay, and then for this flower, you know, I think I'm going to add some more petals. Okay, we're going to add some extra layers to this one. Now, I'm just doctoring this up, okay? This is not what the directions say to do. This is what I just like to do. We're just fluffing it up. Okay. Never hurts to have a few extra layers. We have the bottom of the flower here. I'm going to add a dot of glue too, and then we can add this one here. There we go. And those flowers are good to go. To create the flower bud, just add a dot of glue, and then you just add the flower bud to the top. And that's all there is to that. You're going to have extra buds left over. And our flowers are all done. Okay, now we can add them to our stem. First I'm going to add my leaves. Let's see, we'll add this big one here. Okay, put the big one at the very base. I'll add another dot of glue, and then we'll put the smaller one right next to it. We're going to add 3 dots of glue to those circles on the ends of the stems, and then we can add our little flowers here. Let's add the big one to the shortest stem. Okay, and then we'll add this flower over here. You can add the flowers anywhere you want. I'm just placing them. We have an extra leaf here. I'm going to add some glue, and then I'm going to add this extra leaf up here. And there we go. We have a beautiful focal image. I kind of altered a little bit, but I think you can do that. Okay, we're going to put our focal point to the side and move along to step number 2 and create our home panel. That's where our Vista View window die comes in. If you don't have this die, no worries. What you can do is just die cut out an arch. I think that would look just as pretty. This die set I designed for Spellbinders with my Windows with a View collection. And we're going to use the window box too. Okay, I'm going to die cut out my window with Spellbinders fog cardstock. Okay, and I'm also going to die cut out the detail layer of the window box with the same fog. Okay, and then I'm going to take the piece that goes behind the window box. We're going to cut it out with white cardstock. And then I'm also going to take the outline and cut it out with white so we have a backing. And I think I need to bring in another piece of cardstock. Okay. Once I have these elements die cut out, we're going to do a little ink blending. I'm going to do it in this top corner here. First we're going to add a little bit of yellow. This is my Simon Says Stamp Honey. Okay, we're just going to add a little yellow. And it looks like I have some green on there, but I think my window pane will cover it. Okay, and then I'm going to use my taffy. Pick up a little bit of ink here. We'll add a little taffy. Kind of mixing the two together. I just wanted a little extra color in the corner. Look at it. Okay, maybe we need to go a little bit brighter. I think that will work out. Lovely. Now I'm going to glue this to this and my window pane to this. And then I'll put foam tape behind it, and we're going to layer it right here on the bottom. And that will be my home panel. We're going to go ahead and layer our fuchsia over our window. I had put foam tape behind here. I just put it on some release paper. But we're going to add some foam squares. I ran out. I have to get some more. Okay. We're going to put some large ones behind here, which is really nice. Okay. And we'll put one small one behind the flower bed. And let's layer. And I just layered it up here in the top corner. Now we're going to move on to step number 3 and create our greeting. That's where that stamp set comes in. And we're going to stamp it on our white cardstock. Lovely. I am going to use my scissors. I'm going to fishtail the ends. And then I'm going to pop this up with a foam strip. We'll just put a strip right behind here. I'm going to remove the release paper here, and then let's go ahead and add our greeting. Okay, and I don't even think I told you what I stamped. We will weather the storm together. When I created this, I created it so we have a whole bunch of strips that would fit on the window. Okay, that's all we're doing for our greeting. Let's move on to step number 4 and create our background. Now I mentioned the stencil set that we're going to be using. Okay, I'm going to be using the large circles. Now, if you don't have a stencil like this, no worries, although this is a fabulous stencil. It even has these little polka dots, and then it has the negative pieces. Okay, maybe I should make a card. I think I made a card using the negative pieces. We have to revisit that because I like the way that turned out. Okay, so, but if you don't have a stencil like this, what you can do is take some circle dies and just die cut out a panel with circles and do the same thing. You can use this as many times as the ink doesn't bleed through, or as many times as your cardstock can take, but you could do the same thing with regular cardstock to create kind of a paper stencil. Okay, I'm going to bring in my card base, and we're going to create a background directly on the front of our card base. I have a top folding card base here, and I'm really close, so I'm going to zoom back out. Okay, I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to bring in some masking paper. Oh, another thing that you can do is use masking paper and do the same thing, because it's low tack. Let me just cover this here with some post-it note tape. Okay, and then we're going to create like a bokeh look on our background. It's going to be very easy to do. We're going to use 2 inks. We have our yellow and our taffy, our honey and our taffy. That's all there is to that. I'm going to lift it up and I'm going to move it. I'm going to flip it around, and I'm going to do this bottom section. So we have lots of polka dots on here, okay? Now I'm going to go back to the first section that we colored in, and we're going to add some pink to it. Pick up a little pink, and I don't want to cover the whole thing with pink, but I'm going to go in this area here. So each of those circles will have a little pink, which will turn orange. Okay, maybe a little pink down here. And then, there we go. I'm going to flip it around again and do the same thing. We will add a pink over those 3. Lovely. Maybe a little pink over here. Now we're going to overlap those circles. Now I'm going to only add the bokeh on the edges. You see how they're overlapping? I think that recreates a really fun look. Okay, let's go ahead and add a few more here. I'm going to add a few over here. Add a little yellow. A little touch of pink. Lovely. Go over here. For this one, I'm just going to add a pink. Here we go. Maybe a little pink down here. Okay, and that is our background. And again, let me show you. Let me remove this. This is going to be my background, okay? Before we move on to our next step, I'm going to show you that you can do the same thing with the paper. Just mask off here, and then basically do the same thing. Add a little pink. You see how it works just as well? And it may work even better, actually. Add a little pink. And then you just keep going. It works just as well. You probably won't be able to use it again because it gets oversaturated. But you don't need a fancy stencil to create a really fun bokeh background. Now I'm going to clean off my work surface, and then we're going to layer our window pane in the center of our panel, and we'll move on to step number 5, which means it's time to embellish. Okay, we're going to embellish with that bow, the paper bow. I'm just going to die cut this out with some white. This creates a really pretty bow that looks like it's twine, but it's not. So if you're not good with making bows, this is a great die set. This is the Field Notes Twine. I'm going to die cut this out with white cardstock. I'm not going to use the middle piece or this piece. Okay, so we'll put this to the side. I'm just going to use the bow. And all we're going to do is add dots of glue and layer those circles on top of each other. And I think I want them a little closer. I'm going to put the bow up here. And then we can add the tails. Bring a little white up there. Okay, but it doesn't take away from my flowers. And then I'm also bringing in my Spectrum AB gems. And we're going to add a large gem to that bow center. And then I always like to add the teeny tiny ones. And that will finish my card today. A We Will Weather This Storm Together card. I think it turned out really pretty. I love those little fuchsias. Just gorgeous. That's my card project. I thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for sticking with me to the end. I have 2 more videos that you guys might be interested here. If you guys are new and like the content that you see, click that subscribe button and also the notification bell. That way for future videos, be notified. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It sure does help the channel. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.